Are you ready to uncover the shocking truth behind the untimely deaths of some of our most beloved celebrities? When celebrities with a special place in our hearts have their lives unexpectedly cut short, the grief we feel can often take us by surprise. After all, we didn't know these people personally, but as seen with the national outpouring of grief in the wake of famous figures like Princess Diana, Aaliyah, and so many more, it's clear just how great an impact these stars can have on our lives nonetheless. From murders like those that claimed the lives of Sharon Tate and Selena Quintanilla, to fatal accidents like the one that killed Princess Diana, these high-profile deaths can be a startling reminder of how precious and uncertain life can be, sometimes to dangerous effect. Be sure to watch this video to the end to find out which famous celebrities died young. Heath Ledger died at 28. Ledger was found dead in his Manhattan apartment on January 22, 2008, surrounded by bottles of prescription drugs. An initial autopsy was inconclusive, and a medical examiner said further tests would be needed to determine Ledger's cause of death. The actor, recently separated from actress Michelle Williams, his former fiancée and mother of his 2-year-old daughter, is expected to be remembered as one of the best of his generation. He got a Best Actor Oscar nomination for playing a gay cowboy in Brokeback Mountain, and a Best Supporting Actor nomination and posthumous win for playing the Joker in the Batman movie The Dark Knight. Brad Renfro died at 25. Renfro made his acting debut in 1994 at the age of 11, playing the title role in The Client alongside Susan Sarandon and Tommy Lee Jones. He went on to star with Brad Pitt, Robert De Niro, Kevin Bacon, and Dustin Hoffman in the 1996 film Sleepers. Renfro quickly became a teen heartthrob, and his acting talents had critics thinking he'd last in Hollywood. But legal troubles and struggles with drugs and alcohol hindered his prospects. In December 2005, Renfro was arrested during an undercover drug sweep in Los Angeles and charged with attempted possession of heroin. He later admitted to having used heroin and methadone and was sentenced to 3 years probation. Renfro went to rehab in 2006, but in 2007 he violated his probation by not enrolling in a long-term drug treatment program, People magazine reported. He was found dead in a Los Angeles apartment on January 15, 2008, after a night of drinking, according to the Los Angeles County coroner. Aaliyah died at 22. Aaliyah Dana Houghton, known simply as Aaliyah by hip-hop and R&B fans, was one of the music industry's most promising female stars. Born in Brooklyn, New York, she appeared on Star Search at age 10 and performed with Gladys Knight at age 11. But it was her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, that got the attention of hip-hop heavyweights. The album went platinum within months. R. Kelly, the singer who helped write and produce Aaliyah's album, married the 14-year-old singer. He was 27 at the time. Vibe magazine published a copy of their Illinois marriage license dated August 31, 1994, which showed the starlet's age listed as 18. Their marriage was annulled in February 1995. Aaliyah went on to release One in a Million at age 17, which was certified double platinum within a year. She followed that up with Aaliyah in July 2001, after landing her first major film role in 2000's Romeo Must Die. 1 month later, shortly after wrapping production of her music video for the single Rock the Boat in the Bahamas, Aaliyah and members of her record company boarded a small plane to fly back to the United States. The plane crashed shortly after takeoff and all aboard were killed. The Notorious B.I.G. died at 24. Chris Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, or Big Papa, lived up to his various nicknames. He was a force to be reckoned with in the rap world and remains an enormous influence a decade after his death. Brooklyn-born Wallace dropped out of school at age 17 and turned to a life of crime. He spent 9 months in prison for dealing crack. Soon after getting out in 1992, he parlayed his amateur rhymes into a record contract and started working with some of the biggest names in the business: Sean Puffy Combs, LL Cool J, Mary J. Blige, and Tupac Shakur. His 1994 album, Ready to Die, came at a time when the East Coast-West Coast rap rivalry was going strong, and according to Rolling Stone, Biggie shifted the focus back to New York. This created tension with Shakur, who was leading the West Coast rap scene at the time. When Shakur was shot to death in September 1996, rumors swirled about Biggie's involvement, though he denied all allegations. In March 1997, while in California to promote his upcoming album, Biggie, 24, was shot to death while riding with his entourage in a GMC Suburban. His murder remains unsolved, and in 2007, his relatives filed a second wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles. A movie chronicling his life was due out in 2009. Tupac Shakur died at 25. Tupac Shakur's death was a tragedy of the East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry. Though he hailed from Harlem, Shakur began rapping in California in the early 1990s. He released his first solo album, Tupacalypse Now, in 1991, and formed the group Thug Life in 1993. As he gained fame, Shakur ran into legal troubles. He was accused of sexually abusing a woman in 1993 and convicted of attacking a former employer in 1994. In November 1994, Shakur was shot 5 times and robbed in the lobby of a New York recording studio. While serving a prison sentence for sexual abuse charges, Shakur released Me Against the World, which went to #1 on the Billboard 200. After getting out of jail, suspicious that former friend Biggie Smalls set him up for the 1994 shooting, Shakur railed on Biggie and his associates on the track Hit 'Em Up. On September 7, 1996, while driving through Las Vegas with his entourage, Shakur was shot 12 to 13 times in a drive-by shooting. He died 6 days later of internal bleeding. Shakur's death remains a mystery, though some speculate Biggie was involved in the murder. Biggie's family has vehemently denied those claims. More than 10 years after his death, Shakur remains a hip-hop legend. He's been named the highest-selling rap artist by the Guinness Book of World Records, with more than 75 million albums sold worldwide. Kurt Cobain died at 27. Cobain, frontman for the iconic grunge band Nirvana, was a symbolic figure during the shift from the glam/pop rock of the 1980s towards early 1990s alternative rock, with the song Smells Like Teen Spirit considered by many to be the anthem of Generation X. Some viewed him as the unofficial spokesman for 90s teens and 20-somethings, but Cobain turned to drugs and alcohol to help him cope with the pressures of the media, years of depression, chronic bronchitis, and mysterious stomach pains. Cobain committed suicide in April 1994, shooting himself in the head in his home on Seattle's Lake Washington after leaving a one-day stay at a rehab center in Los Angeles. He died at age 27, leaving behind wife Courtney Love and daughter Frances Bean Cobain. Sid Vicious died at 21. Alan Jones once said, "Sid, on image alone, is what all punk rests on." Sex Pistols bass player and eventual solo artist Sid Vicious, otherwise known as John Simon Ritchie, was everything that the punk movement stood for. Excess, anarchy, violence, total and absolute destructiveness, and apathy. His personal philosophy of live fast, die young led him to a precarious lifestyle of drug use. After the suspicious death of his then-girlfriend Nancy Spungen in a New York hotel room, Vicious said he couldn't remember what happened because he was high that night. He was arrested, sent to Bellevue Hospital for an attempted suicide, released, and then sent to Rikers Island Jail for assault. While there, he was weaned off his heroin addiction and released on February 1, 1979. Upon returning home, Vicious obtained heroin from his mother and overdosed that night. He was revived once, only to have his heart slow to a stop. In the end, his death at 21 further romanticized the tragic life of junkie clamor. Jim Morrison died at 27. Morrison, called a rock god by the music industry to this day, was a poet, writer, and film director, as well as the lead singer and lyricist for psychedelic rock band The Doors. He was born into a military family, and his nomadic childhood helped shape his music. Morrison credited a car accident he saw as a young child, in which a group of American Indians were injured or possibly killed, as one of the most formative experiences of his life. He wrote about the accident in the Doors songs Peace Frog and The Ghost Song. Morrison joined the Doors in 1965 and released 6 studio albums with the band before moving to Paris in 1971, where depression may have led him to develop a heroin addiction. He died in Paris in July 1971 at age 27 from what many believe was a heroin overdose. The absence of an official autopsy has left many unanswered questions surrounding his death. Janis Joplin died at 27. Ranked number 46 in Rolling Stone's 2004 list of the 50 greatest artists of all time, Janis Joplin was an accomplished singer and songwriter in the 1960s hippie heyday. While her career break came as the lead singer for Big Brother and the Holding Company in the 60s, she truly became famous as a solo artist, singing the blues, folk music, and rock. But behind her rich, powerful voice and great lyrical talents was a troubled star. Joplin was reported to have been deeply concerned about how the public would receive her, and became prone to drinking and using drugs as a way to cope with her nerves. Sometime between late-night October 3 and early morning October 4, 1970, Joplin, 27, died in a Los Angeles hotel room. The cause of death was determined to be a heroin overdose, possibly accelerated with alcohol. Joplin was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995 and awarded a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2005. James Dean died at 24. James Dean was the original rebel without a cause, a rising star who lived life in the fast lane. The Indiana-born actor solidified his A-list status through movies such as East of Eden, Giant, and Rebel Without a Cause. Despite his fame, Dean reportedly dealt with severe mood swings and depression that resulted in erratic behavior, including heavy use of alcohol and drugs. Besides acting in big-screen productions, Dean also took up an auto racing career, coming in second in the Palm Springs road races and third in Bakersfield in 1955. On his way to another race on September 30th, 1955, Dean died in a head-on collision. He was 24 years old. River Phoenix died at 23. Critically acclaimed but deeply tormented, River Phoenix was one of the brightest young actors of the 1980s and 90s. The Oregon-born star broke into Hollywood in the 1985 movie Explorers, but it was his 1986 role in Stand By Me that made the industry and the public take notice of his talents. He scored a Best Supporting Actor award from the National Board of Review for his role in 1988's Running on Empty, and played a young Indiana Jones alongside Harrison Ford in 1989's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. As his profile grew, Phoenix attached himself to a variety of causes, campaigning for PETA and endangered rainforests. Despite the actor's success, Phoenix's tumultuous childhood haunted him. In 1991, he told Details magazine that he lost his virginity at age 4 while in the Children of God, a religious cult his family belonged to in the early 1970s, and that he reportedly suffered from depression. On October 31, 1993, Phoenix died after overdosing on cocaine and heroin at the Viper Room in Los Angeles. He was 23 years old. Phoenix's legacy lives on in his younger brother Joaquin Phoenix, who won a Golden Globe for his role in 2005's Walk the Line. Selena died at 23. Selena Quintanilla Perez, best known by her first name, was a Latin music sensation and crossover pop sensation in the United States. She began her singing career at the age of 6. 3 years later, Selena's father made her the lead singer of the family band he founded, Selena y los Dinos. Performing every gig they could get their hands on paid off when Selena landed her first record deal at the age of 12, recording her debut album for a local record company. She grew to be insanely popular with the Latin community and quickly reached star status with a devoted fan club. With her musical success, Selena gained the financial means to launch her own fashion line. At the peak of the singer's career, her family discovered that the president of Selena's fan club and manager of her boutique Yolanda Saldivar, had been pocketing income from the star's funds. Selena decided to confront Saldivar about the situation while collecting papers for tax purposes at a hotel in Corpus Christi, Texas. Saldivar refused to give Selena the papers and shot her in the back. The singer was taken to a hospital, but she had lost too much blood. Her voice went quiet at age 23. Jimi Hendrix died at 27. Iconic guitarist and rock musician Jimi Hendrix passed away in 1970 at 27 years old. An autopsy confirmed his cause of death to be asphyxia, as Hendrix had choked on his vomit while intoxicated from barbiturates. His girlfriend at the time later revealed that he had taken 9 of her Vesparix sleeping tablets, which was 18 times the recommended dosage. Avicii died at 28. Swedish DJ and music producer Avicii passed away at 28 years old in 2018. He retired from touring after several years of struggling with his mental health and died by suicide on April 20th, 2018 in Muscat, Oman. The official cause of death given was blood loss, but his family confirmed that it was suicide. Avicii was a globally renowned, award-winning musician credited with bringing electronic music into the mainstream. Tributes poured in for Avicii from his close friends for the anniversary of his death. While he might be gone, he's definitely not forgotten. Sharon Tate died at 26. Sharon Tate was brutally killed by the Manson family at age 26. She was 8 months pregnant at the time of her death, making the atrocious murder even more horrific. She was only 26 years old when she, along with her unborn child, 3 of her friends, and a stranger with bad timing were murdered. Tate, a Golden Globe-nominated actress best known for her role in Valley of the Dolls, was also the wife of French-Polish film director Roman Polanski. On August 9, 1969, Tate, who was 8.5 months pregnant, noted hairstylist Jay Sebring, aspiring screenwriter Wojciech Frykowski, and Frykowski's girlfriend Abigail Folger, book editor and heiress to the Folger coffee fortune, had their lives taken from them at 10050 Cielo Drive in Los Angeles' Benedict Canyon. The murders, referenced in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, were carried out by members of Charles Manson's family in what's been described as a vengeful act. Princess Diana died at 36. Princess Diana's 1997 death is almost as storied as the royal's life. At age 36, she was with her boyfriend Dodi Fayed, bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones, and driver Henri Paul, driving through Paris and trying to get away from the paparazzi when the car crashed, killing all but Rees-Jones. Fayed and Paul were pronounced dead at the scene, while Diana was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead a few hours later. Mac Miller died at 26. Rapper Mac Miller was found unresponsive in his Los Angeles apartment by his assistant in September 2018. The 26-year-old musician's death was ruled to be an accidental overdose with fentanyl, cocaine, and alcohol found in his system. Miller had previously opened up about his long history with addiction. 1 week before his death, Mac Miller was happy. On August 31st, the rapper invited the bassist Thundercat, a close friend and collaborator, and his daughter, Sana, over to his Studio City, California home to spend the entire day celebrating the girl's 12th birthday. It would be the last time Thundercat would see his friend alive. On September 7th, shortly before noon, police officers responded to a frantic 911 call placed by Miller's personal assistant and longtime sober coach, who discovered Miller's lifeless body in a bedroom in his sprawling, compound-like home moments earlier. The 26-year-old rapper, who topped the charts as an independent teenage artist and championed and befriended many of hip-hop's biggest talents, and whose career was defined by a relentless desire to improve his craft, was pronounced dead at the scene. Bobbi Kristina Brown died at 22. Young Bobbi Kristina Brown was found unconscious in 2015 in the bathtub of her Georgia home, 3 years after her mother Whitney Houston's death under similar circumstances. She was transferred to the hospital and placed into an induced coma, but passed away 6 months later at just 22 years old. An autopsy reported by the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office found that Brown died from a combination of drowning and drug intoxication. The toxicology report found marijuana, alcohol, a cocaine-related substance, sedatives, and anti-anxiety medications and morphine in Brown's system. Cory Monteith died at 31. Glee star Cory Monteith was vocal about his lifelong struggles with substance abuse before checking into a rehab facility in early 2013. Sadly, he was found dead of an accidental overdose at age 31 later that same year. An autopsy report stated that Monteith died from, quote, a mixed drug toxicity consisting of heroin and alcohol, and that his death appeared to have been accidental. People come and go, it's just the way it is. But these celebrities left a mark on the entertainment industry. Fans will always think of them, and they will always be remembered. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.